Have you ever wondered what sparked the legendary Trojan War? Was it truly the beauty of Helen of Troy, or were there deeper, less romantic reasons? Today we delve into the heart of this ancient conflict. While the abduction of Helen is the most famed trigger, could other shadowy causes have lit the fuse of this epic war? Perhaps economic factors, political rivalries, or even divine intervention? Join us on this historical journey as we unravel the truth behind the Trojan War. Before diving into the war itself, let's first set the stage. The era was a time of changing political landscapes and evolving social norms. The Mycenaean Greeks, a civilization known for their grand palaces and intricate bureaucracy, were on the rise. In the midst of this, the city of Troy stood as a beacon of prosperity and power. Its strategic location at the mouth of the Dardanelles Strait, the gateway between the Aegean Sea and the Black Sea, made it a desirable destination for trade and commerce. As you can imagine, this made Troy a coveted prize and a potential source of conflict among the different regional powers. Trade routes were the lifeblood of the ancient world, and the waters around Troy were teeming with vessels carrying goods from far and wide. The city's position allowed it to control a significant portion of the trade that flowed into the Aegean Sea from the Black Sea, a factor that greatly contributed to its wealth and influence. But it wasn't all about trade. The city of Troy also held a significant military advantage. Its towering walls and formidable defenses made it a strategic stronghold in the region. Any power that could claim Troy would not only gain economic advantages but also a critical edge in warfare. Yet the social climate was equally as volatile. The societal norms of honor and retribution played a crucial role in the Mycenaean society. A slight against one's honor was not taken lightly, and the aggrieved party was expected to seek retribution, often leading to a cycle of conflict and revenge. As these political and social factors simmered beneath the surface, the stage was set for a conflict of epic proportions. The tension was palpable, and it was clear that the peace was but a thin veneer, concealing a bubbling cauldron of ambition, rivalry, and desire for dominance. Tensions were brewing, and it wasn't just about Helen. The Trojan War was not a simple tale of love and abduction, but a complex tapestry woven with threads of politics, trade, and the pursuit of power. Now, let's delve into the tale that has been passed down through generations. In the mythical world of ancient Greece, Paris, the prince of Troy, was chosen to judge a beauty contest among the divine goddesses Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Each goddess attempted to bribe Paris. Hera offered power, Athena promised wisdom, but it was Aphrodite's offering of the most beautiful woman on earth that swayed Paris's decision. That woman was Helen, the wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta. Now, Paris wasn't exactly known for his tact, and his next move would set the stage for a decade-long war. Under the guise of diplomacy, Paris traveled to Sparta. While Menelaus was away, Paris, with the aid of Aphrodite, seduced or, by some accounts, abducted Helen and took her back to Troy. Menelaus, upon returning and finding his wife missing, was outraged. He called upon his brother, Agamemnon, and the other Greek kings with whom he had a pact, known as the Oath of Tyndareus. This pact was sworn by all of Helen's suitors and bound them to come to the aid of the man she chose to marry, should she ever be stolen from him. The Greeks, bound by this oath, prepared for war. The abduction of Helen, a tale of love, beauty, and betrayal, is often credited as the main cause of the Trojan War. It's a dramatic story that has been told and retold in countless forms, from ancient pottery to Hollywood movies. The seduction or abduction of Helen by Paris is seen as a personal insult and act of aggression towards Menelaus, and, by extension, all of Greece. However, it's essential to remember that history, especially ancient history, is seldom straightforward. While the abduction of Helen was undoubtedly a significant factor, was it the only reason for the war? Or was it merely the spark that ignited a much larger powder keg of economic, political, and cultural tensions that had been building for years? But was the abduction of Helen the only reason, or merely the spark that ignited a much larger powder keg? Opening, the ancient world was a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and economic interests. In the grand scheme of things, the Trojan War was not merely a legendary conflict sparked by the abduction of a beautiful queen. The underlying economic and political factors played a significant role in fanning the flames of this epic war. Let's delve a little deeper into these aspects. The city of Troy, perched strategically at the entrance of the Dardanelles, was a gateway to the Black Sea, a crucial trade route for the ancient world. Control over Troy meant control over the lucrative trade flowing from the east to the west, and vice versa. This gave the city a profound economic significance, making it a coveted prize for the powerful states of that era. Moreover, the political landscape of the time was riddled with power dynamics and rivalries. The desire to dominate and the fear of being dominated were constant companions of the city-states dotting the ancient world. The Greeks and Trojans, while differing in language and culture, were part of this complex tapestry of power and control. The abduction of Helen served as a perfect casus belli, a justifiable cause for war, masking the underlying motives of power, control, and economic benefits. The Greeks, under the leadership of Agamemnon, sought to exploit this situation. Agamemnon, already a powerful king, saw an opportunity to extend his influence further. His ambition was not just to retrieve Helen, but to assert Greek dominance over Troy, to control its wealth, and to send a strong message to other potential rivals. Thus, what started as a personal conflict between Paris and Menelaus over Helen soon spiraled into a full-scale war, fueled by the desire for power, control, and economic gain. The Trojan War, in essence, became a struggle for dominance among the influential city-states of the ancient world. Closing. So it seems the Trojan War was not just a matter of honor, but also of power and wealth. Greek mythology heavily influenced the events of the Trojan War. As we delve into this vast world of gods and goddesses, we find that they were not merely spectators, but active participants in the conflict. The gods and goddesses in Greek mythology held a significant role in the Trojan War. According to the myths, they often took sides, favoring one hero or another, and influencing the course of events. For instance, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, was said to have triggered the war by offering Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world, to Paris of Troy. This divine intervention set the stage for the epic conflict. Then there was Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, who favored the Greeks and often intervened on their behalf. On the other side, Ares, the god of war, and Apollo, god of archery, sided with the Trojans, providing them with strength and protection. These divine interventions, as told in the myths, added an extra layer of complexity to the war, making it not just a battle between mortals, but a clash of divine wills. But why did the ancient Greeks weave their gods so deeply into the narrative of the war? Well, it could be argued that these myths served a purpose beyond entertainment. They may have been used to justify the war, to make sense of the chaos and destruction, and to provide a framework for understanding why such a devastating conflict could occur. The gods and goddesses, with their whims and rivalries, their favoritism and interventions, made the war seem like a part of a grand cosmic plan. It allowed the ancient Greeks to believe that their actions, no matter how brutal, were guided by divine will, absolving them of some moral responsibility. So, in a sense, the Trojan War was a theater where both gods and men played their parts. The gods in the myths were just as flawed and just as prone to jealousy, anger, and deceit as the mortals they ruled over. In the end, the gods had their way, or so the ancient Greeks believed. The Trojan War, in their eyes, was not just a human conflict, but a divine drama played out on the mortal stage. So what was the real cause of the Trojan War? Our journey began with the infamous abduction of Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world, by Paris, the Prince of Troy. It was this act that ignited the spark, setting the stage for the epic battle that was to unfold. However, as we delved deeper into the narrative, it became evident that this was not the sole catalyst. We then explored the economic and political factors at play. The burgeoning power of Troy, its strategic location, and its control over vital trade routes were all sources of envy and apprehension for the Greek city-states. The Trojan War, therefore, was not just a quest for Helen, but also a strategic move to curb Troy's rising influence and gain economic supremacy. Finally, we considered the influence of Greek mythology. The gods' interference in mortal affairs, prophecies, and divine interventions were all ingrained in the Greek psyche. The Trojan War was seen not just as a mortal conflict, but as a battleground for the gods themselves. In conclusion, while the beauty of Helen may have sparked the conflict, it was the interplay of economic factors, political rivalries, and deeply rooted beliefs in mythology that fanned the flames of war. The Trojan War, it seems, was not a simple tale of love and revenge, but a complex narrative of power, greed, and divine intervention. While the beauty of Helen may have been the spark, it appears the real causes of the Trojan War were far more complex.